So yeah, this is going to be a good one tonight. I've been using a self-directed IRA. I guess it's been 16 years now, 17 years. And there's so many different nuances that you can take advantage of where literally 2% of the country actually use a self-directed IRA for any type of investment, any type of retirement building. When I found out that stat, I really had to make a decision that I was going to change the needle, at least move the needle by 1%. If it's 2% now, if I can get it to 3%, I can lay down in my grave and feel a lot better. And so that's the reason for these webinars. That's the reason why I have the retirement cash flow school community. It all revolves around using self-directed IRAs, solo 401ks, tax-free and tax-deferred accounts that the government wants you to use. And the ERISA Act, which was put in place in 1974, which is 50 years ago, the government has done a very lousy job at getting the word out that these accounts are actually available and are very powerful. When you hear someone say, yeah, I'm investing, it's usually some wealthy person or politician, and you hear that they're not paying any taxes. Well, this is one of the reasons why they're not paying any taxes. There are people that are running their business out of their self-directed IRA. They have to pay taxes on a portion of that business. That's for another call. But you can run a business out of your self-directed IRA, pay some UBIT taxes, and your profits are huge. And it's all about your retirement, folks. It happens really quickly. I turned 66 a couple of months ago, and I'm like, that just doesn't even sound like me. It sounds like someone else. So anyway, tonight's topic is raising capital and help your friends at the same time retire wealthy. It sounds too good to be true. So let me actually get this screen going here. And all right. So what I want to bring up here, the first topic here this evening, is the amount of savings, availability of things that people can save their money for their retirement. Let's just show you. So I typed in the best CD rates today for a 1 year term. And these are the very best. These are not just the average. These are the best. The best return that someone can expect is 4.4%. Let's round it up to 4.5% and be generous at an annual percentage yield. And I remember when I was a kid, we used to get 5%. I don't know why I was paying attention when I was 7 or 8 years old. When I had a savings account, we were getting 5%. And I used to figure out how much money that was at 5%. So if the common average person can get 4.5% at a good yield, which is the best yield out there, here's like, wow, could you imagine if you could get 6% yield on a CD? And so I'm in the process of looking at a property right now for sale in Puerto Rico, in Arecibo, Puerto Rico. This is how far it is to the beach. And it's a 9-minute drive or a 10-minute drive. And I don't want to use any of my own money. I don't want to sell anything. I don't want to refinance anything. I don't want to use any of my own money. And I don't even need the owner to carry the note and hold the note, because I'm thinking about doing exactly what I'm talking about on this in this recording. And so how can I buy this property with no money and actually help my friends earn? Let's just double that CD rate and give somebody 9%. I mean, that's a fair deal. And this would be a 9% return secured by real estate. So what do I have to do that? Well, I have to talk to a few of my, what I call civilians. These are people that don't know that you can get ridiculous returns from other forms of investing. Real estate and non-performing notes, turning them into performing notes, and all the different tools that you and I understand as real estate investors. I'm talking about a civilian who's an electrician and they work 50 or 60 hours a week and they're able to bank some money and then they put them into CDs. I know many people who work in the manufacturing industry that are just that. They are able to take 20% of their paycheck and put it away and put it into a nice, safe, secure CD that won't even keep up with inflation. So let's just double and offer them a 9% return and not talk about anything else. Just say, hey, listen, I have an investment. I can give you a 9% return annually secured by a mortgage on a piece of real estate. I don't have to tell them it's in Puerto Rico. I don't have to tell them it's in wherever it's located. They don't have to know where it is. They don't have to know the value of the property. All they need to know is the tax benefits of a self-directed IRA, and I can give them a 9% return. So how I plan on doing this, how I've done this in the past, I've done this for other people in the past, I've taught this, is I call them, I guess the first thing you need to do is have your own self-directed IRA. I think that would make life easy. You can call up a custodian tomorrow, literally tomorrow, and say, hey, listen, I want to open up a Roth self-directed IRA. If you need a custodian, hit me up. However you need to contact me. I'll give you a couple of custodians that I think are the most sophisticated out there for the best price. And you cut them a check for $450 or $500, use your credit card, get the account open. And then all in the same conversation, say, listen, can you send me out 20 applications for other people to open up their self-directed Roth IRA accounts? They're like, 20? Absolutely. We'll get that. We'll FedEx that over to you overnight. And I would take those applications. I would round up some family members, civilians, however you can create this network of non-real estate investing people and explain to them the tax benefits of opening a self-directed IRA. And the tax benefits are you can't touch the money until you're 59 and a half. You can contribute $7,000 or $8,000 a year, depending on your age. And the money that you generate as profit comes into the account tax-free. And they'll be like, what the heck are you talking about? You can't do that. You can't buy real estate in your IRA. You can't do that. It's against the law. And you can point them to the irs.gov, and you can have in your presentation, in your slideshow, the forms and documents that need, it's going to take a little work, but you can make a presentation that'll last about 45 minutes to an hour. You can do it in the back of a restaurant, and then you buy everybody dinner. And you get everyone to fill out their self-directed IRA account. And one by one, you help these people get money into their account by using all the videos that are in this video series. It's that easy. And that's what I mean by endless cash flow. It's not only endless cash flow coming in as profit, but it's endless cash flow of all of the people that don't understand real estate investing, but they want to get a 9% return or a 7% return or an 8%. It's cheap money for you, and there's an endless supply of it. Look up and down the street, all these households, everybody's got a savings account, whether it's small or large. People would love to get an 8 or a 9 yield on their money. You can take dead 401ks and help them bring that to the custodian and have them roll over 40 or 50 grand that they have in each dead 401k from previous employers. And now that money is available to you. And you can secure that loan with a 5-year mortgage. They'll be like, I would love to get 9% on $40,000 for the next 5 years, tax-free or tax-deferred in their self-directed IRA. I'm telling you, folks, it's endless cash flow. It is endless cash flow for you to do deals. So many people that we all run into, and we ask them, how come you don't have any investment real estate? I don't have the money. They think that they have to save up 10% of their paycheck for their entire life to get a deal done. And there is so much available capital out there locked up in some pretty scary stuff, some scary stock market stuff, some scary CD stuff like this 4.5%. Now that's for a good, that's the best. You usually have to have a minimum of $50,000 or $100,000 to get the best going CD rate. It's horrible. I've done this. It works. It's fun. And you actually help your friends get wealthy. Because if you borrow 50 grand and you're giving them 9%, and now they're like, hey, how's that deal going? Well, I think we're actually going to cash out early because the property's going to sell, or I'm going to refinance it and get some cheaper money. And they're like, oh, don't do that. Please don't do that. I'm getting this fantastic return. I want to keep getting it. And you promise them, listen, there'll be other deals. I don't intend on this being my last real estate deal. And I'm telling you, you can help change people's lives and do yourself a favor and be able to buy some real estate that you can't just walk down the street and buy today. This is so powerful. The first time that I did this, I came across a person who said that, listen, I think I can raise, with my friends and family, I've talked to a bunch of different people, and I think that they're sitting on about $2 million. And they were able to raise $2 million in one sitting at one restaurant that I think they got 15 people's accounts opened up. Now, these were IT people. They were mostly IT people that every 5 years they would change a job. So they get, they started out at a college, they get their first position, they stayed there for 5 or 6 years, they opened up a 401k, then they moved on to the next job, and that 401k just sat there. They moved on to the next job, and by the time they were in their 40s and 50s, they had accumulated 4 or 5 of these dead 401ks. They just thought it was too complicated to get these things transferred into anything useful. And so they just let them sit. They put the money, mostly these people had their money in the money market accounts that were available in these 401ks because that was the safest. And they just felt like, hey, this is pretty cool. I'm going to this job. I'm accumulating this money. I get my 4% match. I'm still carving money off the top. And then I left that job to go for another job. That 401k did not transfer over to the new account. It just stayed where it was, dormant usually. And into the next thing, they get their 4% match. They start contributing to that. Their pay scale is going up. So now they're making larger contributions. And they've accumulated 4 or 5 of these things. They really don't know how easy it is once they get the account opened up for them to call up the custodian and say, hey, listen, I've got 2 more 401ks I need to roll over into my self-directed traditional or my self-directed Roth IRA. The custodian says, okay, what's the account? What's the account number? I need you to sign this form. They are in contact with most of the providers for 401ks. They've done this thousands of times. They call out the provider. They do the necessary forms that need to be signed, maybe notarized. And a month later, you get a notice that money is now available. That's it. That money is now available. It's not only available to them, but because you're the person that presented this type of account to them, that money now becomes available to you. And when they call you up and say, hey, listen, I just got another 40 grand that I need to put into action. I know that you're using my first 40,000 from my first 401k. I've got another 40,000. And what do? I go out and I look for another deal. And I would use that 40 as a down payment and lock up the deal. Maybe I can get the seller to hold the note for the balance of the deal. I may have to go out and get 3 or 4 other investors involved. I have the paperwork that you can use for that if you need to put people together without creating a security. And there's a whole little bit of technical stuff there. But I've got some pretty smart people that I hang out with that have drafted documents to be able to do this legally. And now, really, the only work that you have to do is go out and find more people, more civilians. You have to coach them into how to open up a self-directed IRA. You have to go out and find more deals, and you're in business. It's that good. And you can help me move that needle by 1%, because by you going out there and doing exactly what I'm saying right now, I can exponentially use this information to help you do what my ultimate goal is, and that's to move the needle by 1%, to get people to open up these accounts because they're so good, but the government doesn't push them because they're good for us and not good for the government, because I'm collecting money tax-free. Why would the government ever want to do that? The government wants to keep you a W-2 employee, and they want to keep you paying taxes on as much as they can because they survive on that money. It's a shame. It's been 50 years, and you would think they would do some kind of a study to say, hey, listen, we actually took the responsibility of retirement away from the employer and put it onto the worker, put it onto the employee to say, hey, listen, it's on you now. If you don't save for your retirement, you're going to be living off of Social Security the rest of your life. Once you hit, 62 or older. And Social Security is like 25 grand a year if you really put into it like a lot. 25 grand a year is very difficult to live on without any other type of income. But if you can show these people, hey, listen, I've built up a $450,000 retirement account by collecting all this interest on these loans that I've made to all these different real estate investors, then you're helping people grow their money twice as fast as what's in a certificate of deposit. And that to me, folks, is so powerful. That's the purpose for these calls. That's the purpose for these recordings. And it really is the purpose for these custodians that are out there that I think are doing a horrible job marketing as well. I go to real estate wholesaling events and real estate different types of fix and flip kind of meetings. I like going to meetings and seeing how people do things. And my son and I went to an event in Manhattan a couple of years back, and it was an expensive event. And it was all about digital marketing and affiliate marketing. And I don't know, I think it was $1,000 each to get in or something. And there was 10,000 people a day at this event. And there was not one self-directed IRA custodian with a booth. There was hundreds of booths set up for different types of internet marketing and different types of, artificial intelligence and all the crazy stuff that's out there in the digital world. And people flew in from Dubai, and they came from Thailand and Indonesia, all these really brilliant people that were taking advantage of the internet and making money, serious money. But not one IRA custodian was there. Now, these are the people that have all the money, that don't know anything about what we're talking about. I can go to a real estate meeting and there'll be 4 custodians sitting there with 200 people. And it's almost like the custodians only want to talk to people that will understand what it is, product that they have. And real estate investors understand mortgage notes. They understand private lending. They understand fix and flip. And they understand what it's like to be in first position as a lender. And the custodians, I think, are lazy. And they don't know how to get in front of the right people. I think that you folks do know how to get in front of the right people. You belong to groups. You can market out to different people in groups, and there's an endless supply of cash out there. Endless. Just one of those internet marketers that are racking up $2 million a year. They don't know what to do with their money. They're not saving for their retirement. There's some of these kids out there that are 25 years old making $2 million a year with internet marketing, and they're blowing it all. And if they would just take, 10 or 20% of that and throw it into a self-directed IRA and park it, and then a person like you or I come along and say, hey, listen, I found a small apartment complex. I would love to take this thing down with you in a first position mortgage. And I'll give you 10% to be like, oh yeah, 10%, that'd be awesome. Secured by a mortgage. If I default, you can foreclose on the property and take the property from me. And it's all yours. So I know this was a quick recording here. Does anybody have any questions regarding this? Because this is so powerful and so not marketed out there. No one's talking about this. It's shocking. But I would love to take your questions on this. I'm sure there's going to be a lot because there's a lot of moving parts to this. Just go ahead and unmute.
I will share my thoughts and my husband. We we definitely we are new to the platform and new to investing as well. So we are understand for us it's clear now that sometimes when investors we always thought that when an investor purchases a house, like the 20% down, or the down payment would be something that would come from their own money. But it's our understanding now that, you can have this cash flow using other people's money for the down payment.
Absolutely. That
And
you
we
got
didn't
it.
know, yeah, we didn't thought that would be a possibility. But we just feel that because we are in the beginning, we need to understand a little bit better, like the game of the real estate investing a higher level than what we know in order to approach people in that way.
Right, to
Sure.
get a little bit more confident into the whole process before we get to this, but it's a very good thing to come back to probably in a year or two from now when we're going to be more taught into the industry.
Absolutely. And I appreciate that because every every experienced investor out there was new. And
Mm.
that's when I really started investing, I bought my first house in '05, and I can only use my own experience. It's not about me. But in 2007, I started getting on webinars, and these webinars were about real estate investing, primarily about investing in the non-performing note business, which is fairly sophisticated compared to just going and buying a two-family house and paying down the mortgage with the rent. It's pretty basic. Anyway, I was on these calls, and I'm sitting there as a newbie, and I'm like kind of frozen. And we were on these calls every other week, and everybody was kind of frozen. And it took probably 5 or 6 months for one of the people before the call actually started. Like this call started at 7 p.m. Eastern. But I noticed that there were people on here at 5 to 7, 10 to 7, but nobody was talking to each other. And they could have, I don't think, I was on mute too, but they could have unmuted and saw, because this is a Zoom call, you can see the other people that are on the call. And you're allowed to talk to them and just say, hey, listen, I'm new to real estate investing. What do you do? What do you do? Um, I don't know if everybody here is on my school platform, SKOOL, retirement cash flow. What I can do is I can put a link into the chat for you guys that are not in my group, or maybe someone who's already in this group. Maybe Dave, you could put the link to the invite for the retirement cash flow group. And there's 130 people in that group, that some are new and some are not. Talk to these people. I am constantly inviting people onto a call to schedule a call with me, because I want to know what the heck they're up to. I want to know what they're doing. I want to know if they have money to lend, or I want to know if they have money that they want to borrow. And I just want to understand everyone's scenario. Like I said, when we were on these webinars, everybody on the call was new to this form of investing. Pretty much. Maybe there were some people with experience. And as we started talking to each other, I realized, okay, this guy is a house painter. And this person is a stay-at-home mom, and her husband is an IT guy. And this person buys, I think he was doing something with insurance policies. And this person was this, and this person was that. And it took about 4 or 5 months for people to actually break the ice and start talking to each other. And that was really unfortunate, because what happened was the guy on that call, who was the house painter, now runs a $500 million hedge fund. And here I am talking to this guy, and he was a total newbie. He was totally new to real estate. He owns some rental properties. I take that back. He owns some rental properties, but now he runs a $500 million hedge fund buying apartment complexes, because he took all these pieces of this and pieces of that. And, oh, yeah, this person talked about this and this person talked about that. And they put it all together, and they put their heads together, and they figured out how to raise capital on a large scale. And you never know who you're sitting next to. You never know who's in these groups. I was on a call. Someone was making some really good posts on real estate investing. And oops, yeah, thanks for putting that in, Dave. So yeah, I was on these calls. No, I was reading posts on some of these groups that I belong to. So this is Retirement Cash Flow, and this is my completely free group. This is where I talk about self-directed IRAs for a wealthy retirement, and this is the main focus for this community. And there's other communities that I belong to. I belong to these communities on the side here, and they're different real estate type communities. And I just want to talk to strangers. I just want to talk to people to figure out what they're looking for. And you never know who you run into that can accelerate your learning curve. So you guys are new, and that's fantastic, because we were all new. Yeah, I bought my first 2-family house in 1999, and I didn't know what the heck I was doing, but I was talking to people that said, that sounds like a pretty good deal. It was a $140,000 2-family house around the corner from my house. And I think the rents were at the time undervalued. They were getting 700 up and 700 down on a up-down 2-family house. And that was the 1% rule that I was taught. 700 and 700 is $1,400 a month. That's 1% of the purchase price, which was $140,000. That's how new I was. I had one formula going for me. I look at what I look at now as far as performing my due diligence is pretty extensive. But in the beginning, that's all I knew. That's what I had. Now, I was not the social butterfly I am today, where not only do I have my own retirement cash flow group, but I belong to all of these groups as well. And I'm not super active on all of these groups, but I am somewhat active on particular ones that I think I can provide the most value. And I'm trying to get the word out for people to take advantage of self-directed IRAs. And that's it. So if you go into the chat in this live Zoom, you will actually see a link that Dave put in there. Thanks for doing that, Dave. And get signed up in this group. Any questions that you have, use this little chat window here. Send them over. Send me questions. Jump into the classroom and get educated on using this self-directed IRA stuff. And yes, using other people's money in the beginning is a little bit scary and hairy, where your experience level, you should have some type of a little track record. And like you said, come back to this in 6 months or a year, or partner up with someone that has the experience like myself. And we can help people do due diligence on deals. There's some experienced people in this group. I got it's up to 142 members now. And it's as simple as scrolling through and, oh, here's somebody here doing, let me click on his profile, and he's in 2 groups. He's in my retirement cash flow group, and he's in the commercial real estate 101. So now I can see that commercial real estate 101 is a public group. It's free. And I could just hit this chat and say, hey, how you been? Like this guy I met on a real estate investment cruise 15 years ago, maybe 12 years ago. And so it's super fun to join these groups and see what other people are doing. If you look into my chat window, you'll see all the different people that I have connected with. They're complete strangers that, I've only been in this school community for two months now. I believe I got in here in December. And these are all the people that I've communicated with as far as scheduling calls and finding out what they're doing, finding out what they're needing, finding out their experience level. And if they need help, I'll give it. And if they can give me help, they'll give it. People love to help each other. And so I'm rambling on. But those are great points. And I appreciate you guys for giving me jumping in on that. Anyone else with any questions on this?
You have a link to your favorite IRAs custodians, right? I think you have it somewhere in the school account, right?
Say that again.
You have a link to your favorite custodians that I think I have it down somewhere. Which one you use?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
let me go through that real quick. Why would I have a favorite custodian or two? So the first pick that I would give you would be, I'm gonna put my glasses on for this. Whoa. Specialized Trust Company. I have a self-directed Roth IRA here, and I have a traditional self-directed IRA with Specialized Trust Company.
And what sets them apart?
Say it again.
What sets them apart?
Okay.
Why do you like them? Yeah.
So I like specialized trust. And then let me go to the other one, which is CAMA. KAMA. Camera plan. Is it CAM? Oh, my keyboard's there. It must be CAMA. Yeah. Okay. So specialized trust and Camel plan. My two favorite ones. And it's really for one reason. They both allow for investors to open up a certain kind of trust inside of their IRA, and these custodians allow a bank account, a trust bank account, to be opened up, and then the funds from these two custodians flow into the trust, and the trust then gives me checkbook control of my investing using a trustee. And that's pretty complicated stuff. I actually cover that in my classroom if you join this SDIRAs for a Wealthy Retirement. It's very in-depth. It's a very in-depth education program. And you can see that all these drop downs actually open up into their own lessons. And I talk about using trusts and advanced concepts in here, checkbook control versions. And specialized trust, I know, allows these types of investments, which are sophisticated. Instead of using an LLC, you can use a trust. And Camera Plan, I don't have a Camera Plan account, but my students, I've got 4 students that have a Camera Plan account, and they use them as well. I think Camera Plan actually has a little bit better pricing. I actually have their pricing sheet right here that I am taking apart right now and figuring out which of these custodians is worth it, cheaper. I have, and so those are the 2 that I use. Those are the 2 that I'm familiar with using, and both of these accounts are totally functional. Like I said, 4 of my students have a Camera Plan account, and they love them. And I believe, from what I've heard from them, that the pricing is a little bit better. But I wouldn't get all hung up on the pricing, folks, because I've grown my trust account from $11,000 to an $800,000 value in 5 years. So I'm not hung up over whether I'm going to pay $375 a year or $450 a year. Get the thing open, get it done, and get educated as quickly as possible on this information, and start talking to people that have done it already, because 3% of the country actually use it. I believe it's even less if you go into and use ChatGPT PT to, I asked it directly, and it was having a difficult time even putting it to a number. And I just said, how many people actually use an IRA? Forget about a self-directed IRA, just an IRA. People that are over 18 that are working, how many people? And it was like 4% or 15% or something. And then I filtered down to say, of these IRAs that are open, how many of these are self-directed? It really came out to less than 1 million self-directed IRA accounts, which is horrible. And I blame the government. They should have educated us. You can go to irs.gov to see that, hey, what I'm talking about is actually a true story. that these things are available. You can feel free to contact any of these people. They're more than happy to talk to you beyond stocks, bonds, and mutual funds. And I firmly believe in it. I mean, when you do, like, they take control of your financial future, and it really is up to you folks. It's not up to hoping that stock market doesn't crash tomorrow. I just, that is not investing, in my opinion. Investing is doing the numbers, doing the research, getting with people and asking people, hey, does this look like a good investment to you? I would love for people to go into my group and post, hey, listen, I'm looking at buying this 2-family house. Do these numbers work? Here's what the rent roll is. Here's what my taxes are. Here's what my mortgage payments are. Here's where it's located. Here's what I think my expenses are going to be for the year. Let's drill down and do some due diligence. And I'll let you know, hey, you know, I think this is a fantastic deal. I'd love to be a 25% partner in this or whatever. Don't be afraid to talk to people. It's unfortunate that we're all born with this shyness that we don't think that we're worthy. We don't think that we're good enough to ask questions and talk to people, which is completely wrong. Any more questions here? All right. Well, I appreciate everybody being on here this evening. And these calls are recorded. And let's see. Let me just make sure that I got this. I find this topic fascinating. And I hope you guys get as excited about it as I am, because I'm 66 years old, and had I not done what I did, it would be a different story right now. So again, thanks for being on, and go to my retirement account. I'm going to be editing these videos and putting them into the classroom. And that's it. Thanks again. Have a great night.
Night, Mike.
Thank you. Thank you, Mike. Appreciate it.
You got it, guys. Thank you. Bye-bye.